The 80-20 principle by Richard Koch is based on the idea that 80% of results come from just 20% of efforts, inputs, or causes. This principle, also known as the Pareto Principle, shows up in many areas of life: business, productivity, relationships, and more. Koch argues that by identifying and focusing on the vital few, the 20%, instead of the trivial many, the 80%, you can achieve far more with less effort. The book guides readers to apply this principle to improve effectiveness, time management, income, business strategies, and personal life. 1. The 80-20 principle is everywhere. The core idea is that a small portion of causes, inputs, or efforts usually lead to a large portion of the results or outputs. Example: in business, 20% of customers typically account for 80% of sales. If a store has 100 products, likely 20 of them generate 80% of the revenue. By identifying which 20% matters most, you can focus your resources more effectively. 2. Not all effort is equal. Most of what we do doesn't actually produce much value. Example: if you spend 10 hours answering emails, maybe only 2 of those emails lead to important outcomes. Instead of treating all tasks equally, prioritize the few that have the biggest impact. This means focusing on high-leverage activities. 3. Focus on the vital few. Ignore the trivial many. It's not about doing more. It's about doing less but better. Example: a sales rep might realize that 3 of her 15 clients bring in the majority of revenue. Instead of spending equal time on all clients, she should give more attention to those top 3 and possibly drop the bottom performers. 4. Use the principle to improve time management. You can accomplish more by doing fewer things. Example: instead of writing 20 blog posts that get little attention, a writer might notice that just 3 of their articles drive most traffic. They can then create more content around those popular topics to increase results with less work. 5. Success comes from doing what you do best. Your natural strengths likely generate the best results. Example: if you're good at design but spend most of your time on admin tasks, you're wasting your potential. Focus on the 20% of your skills that bring the most success and outsource, or reduce the rest. 6. In business, profits often come from a minority of products or customers. Example: a company might offer 50 services, but only 10 generate consistent profits. By identifying which services drive most profits, they can cut unprofitable ones and focus on what works, increasing both efficiency and profit. Even in relationships, a few connections bring most joy or stress. You don't need to maintain dozens of relationships if only a few bring you real happiness. Example: if 3 friends bring you 80% of your joy, spend more quality time with them instead of stretching yourself thin with everyone. 8. The principle applies to money and wealth, too. Most wealth is concentrated in a small percentage of people. But even personally, 20% of your investments or efforts might bring 80% of your financial gains. Example: if you invest in 10 stocks, usually 2 will perform significantly better than the rest. You should consider putting more into those winners rather than spreading yourself too thin. 9. You can apply the principle to personal happiness. Figure out what truly makes you happy and do more of that. Example: if taking walks in nature and reading good books bring you more joy than parties or shopping, prioritize those activities. 20% of activities might be responsible for 80% of your contentment. 10. Eliminate or minimize the unproductive. 80%. Not everything you do matters. Example: if you watch TV for 10 hours a week but only find 2 hours truly enjoyable, cut out the rest. Or, if 80% of your meetings are unproductive, reduce or remove them to free up time for more valuable work. 11. Apply the principle to learning and personal growth. Most learning comes from a few powerful insights or experiences. Example: you might read 10 self-help books, but only 2 of them actually changed your mindset. Reread and deeply apply those 2 books instead of constantly seeking new ones without action. 12. Use the principle to set goals. Don't chase 10 goals at once. Focus on the few that really matter. Example: instead of trying to start a podcast, write a book, build a business, and train for a marathon all at once, choose the one that aligns most with your values and brings the highest return. 13. The principle can be inverted to eliminate problems. Just as 20% of actions bring most results, 20% of causes often create 80% of problems. Example: if 2 out of 10 customers generate most complaints, improve how you serve them or let them go. This will reduce stress and improve your business. 14. You don't need to be busy to be successful. Hard work doesn't always lead to big results. Smart work does. Example: 2 freelancers work 40 hours a week. One earns $1,000 and the other $5,000 because the second one chooses higher-paying clients and more valuable work. Focus on high-output tasks, not just being active. 15. Leverage the 80-20 principle for innovation. Most innovation comes from a few key ideas. Example: a tech company may have 100 new features in the pipeline, but only 5 of them will truly change the user experience. Focus your energy on developing those few high-impact features. 16. You can multiply success by repeating the 80-20 pattern. Once you identify the top 20%, you can look within that 20% again and find the top 20% of that, which is 4% of the original. Example: if 20% of products bring 80% of revenue, find out which 4% bring the majority of that revenue. Double down again and again to maximize returns. Conclusion: the 80-20 principle teaches you to be selective and strategic in all areas of life. It's not about doing more, but about doing what matters most. By identifying the small percentage of things that lead to the majority of your success and happiness and focusing on them, you can achieve more with less stress, time, and effort. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to get more video like this.